It's amazing what PTSD and trauma does to you. I just did it again. I do it every day. I use these phrases and words and adjectives that I've never used in my life. And I'm a proven case of whatever in the world PTSD and done is to make me so much smarter and stronger. I'm in the line and this, I'm kind of at Target, whatever, and I'm getting out and I'm going through just to buy a bottle of water. I'm like, well, I want a candy bar. I love candy, I love chocolate. Anyway, I always have, I love Reese's. My mom did too. So anyway, and I get one, and this good-looking black girl sitting there, and she's like, "No, you go ahead." I said, "No. So I said, "Ladies first." And she goes in front of me, and then she looks at the aisle or whatever, and she's like there, and I was like, "Oh, okay, whatever." So I go over there. I said, "You reap what you sow." I said. And she kind of smiled. I said, "Was that used in the correct?" And I hate using this word context, and because that's an academic word. I don't know if people. I certainly didn't really understand it until I really started doing stuff. It's like a technical, and it's good to use in web development, software development, because it's a more powerful way to use the word example, right? But you need to define that word as you do in some things in web development, certainly in teams of developers and technical, because a lot of people they automatically just say yes or whatever, and they're deep back in the mind, they don't know what the hell you're talking about. A lot of times, it doesn't matter what it is. Certainly in company meetings and stuff like that, you need to define stuff. That's very important. That's what Steve Jobs was a master of. And I said, was that used correctly? She said yes. I'm like, it happened again. I was like, I do this. It's amazing what PTSD and trauma does to you. I mean, like, that's why sometimes I was like, is this heaven? Am I in the field of dreams? It's amazing. It's clearly not. But sometimes I think that I have little or no money, but I'm following it, right? I just talked to a girl she's a director of facilities, or she's a director for Chick-fil-A. I'm eating lunch, and she's moving too fast. And I was talking to her, and I said, I'm like you. I was like, I care too much. I work too hard. I said, don't take this wrong. I said, you probably work too hard. Don't beat yourself up, because you certainly don't want to come like me, because I ended up almost dying from it because I was an alcoholic, whatever. But she was so awesome. She knows what I was talking about. But she was just working, And I said, but that's great what you do. Other people follow that. Anyway, and this other girl comes that I've seen before, and she comes by and starts. I said, what was her name? And I was telling her my story. I said, I've just followed this, and I gave her my story talking about, leadership and mental strength, and about how PTSD and trauma is a daily ups and downs. And I had another one 2 days ago, and it happens. And I keep saying it's probably not going to be my last one, but you should never say never. PTSD is a long-term fight. It's May 8th, and I still get a little hypervigilant. It's probably because my arm is still not connected. I can feel it right now, and I do this too much to try to reset it, because I playing pickleball. I try too hard, and we do that. We need to let go and relax. Bodies are too tense, and if you can let go, especially like Isaac Nada told me, he was a blown away an NFL football player, and he told his dad he couldn't believe my IQ. Be honest with you. And he said he can train NFL athletes. And that's what they do. They break it down. NFL, they do not want you to think. You got, 2 seconds? They don't want you to think. The body moves in patterns, period. It recognizes patterns. Like Muhammad Ali let go. He was dyslexic just like I am. Let me tell you something, you can't dance like I can. Nobody can. I'd do dances with the stars in a minute, in a second. I have natural ability because of that, because of my parents. Both of them are great dancers. Both my sisters were great dancers, and I was blessed with that, and I never really understood that. It's really just footwork. and I practice that with martial arts. But at any rate, I guess what I'm going at, it's amazing. And I was telling this to this girl. I said it needs to change. And I sent her, and she was loving it, and it was so nice to see that. And you follow it. You follow it, especially with healing. It's I don't have any worries and stuff. I really and I told her, I said, I'm not gonna starve. I get reassurance every single day talking to people. I don't preach this all day long, but sometimes it's connecting, and sometimes it's people like that. And the girl, the original girl, her I was telling her, I was explaining to them about Chick-fil-A. I said, their user experience is off the charts. I said, it comes from branding, because it's a culture. And I said, I said, I've never, I don't know who designed it. I'm not making fun of it, but I said, my pleasure, but it sticks. That's branding. Everybody says it. Everybody knows it. It's great branding. But displays are incredible. It's so easy to see everything, the layout and whatever. I saw it the other day. I was looking at an office. It's out of the Netherlands. This Spaces, same thing. It's all about user experience. You go into Home Depot, you go into Target, right there. I'm at Target. I study their store every single time I go in there, almost. Sometimes I'll spend 30 extra minutes just looking at stuff. I figured out their damn. I was telling with the girl in the Spaces, and she's from the Ukraine. I was explaining her user experience. I said Targets. I'm sure other competitors probably know this if they got any sense. Their socks are made to drop. It's a little hook about this long. That's what PTSD and trauma conditioning is. Really dyslexia too. I truly believe. Neurodivergence is huge, and it's coming. It's here. Do anything with, and it's great for AI. Is great for me to break stuff down. But we all need to get our anxiety and stuff on control. But I noticed it 2 years ago when I was starting this. I figured out they probably played some consultants $200,000 to figure out their hook. Sorry, Target. I do love your store though. It's so easy to find everything. Everything's displayed. You go into Publix and everybody's going like that. I've even told that to Publix employees. I see exactly what you're saying. So I guess what I'm saying is that PTSD is a superpower. You see too much stuff, and you get scared. But you have to relax and realize that's part of the problem with it. Your brain gets too hyper vigilant, and in human beings we are being too hyper vigilant right now, for sure. The browser's going nuts with all this stuff. There's too much going on in it. Probably gonna build my own browser, to be honest with you. You can do it. Google Chrome is called the Chromium Project. It's open source software. You can make your own damn browser. You can do whatever the hell you want with it. Google gives it. It's called open source software. I mean, you can build whatever you want. Elon Musk is going to space. He's going to damn Mars. He didn't write all that software. He didn't write all that, but he knows proper development practices and how to be a leader. And he understands that stuff. He studied Steve Jobs like everybody else, and like they all do. Anyway, I'm just going on and on and on. But it's about fundamentals, and certainly the human brain and the body, and certainly in sports, is breaking it down for yourself, and you never stop doing that. And I cross-domain a lot of stuff, primarily because I don't know. If without finance, I don't know if I would have recovered. In finance, they teach you in college. That's the girl will say, "Well, how did you learn this?" I said, "Well, it's interesting. I was a finance major." But what's interesting about that is that's what they teach you in finance is you take the net present value of everything that adds value to a business. Well, you got to estimate risks in there of the value of a project that you undertake. But that was that's why I've taken from so many different people. I take from Bruce Lee, I take from Steve Jobs, I take from Michael Jordan, I take from Nick Saban or whatever. And I've always really done that. I listen to all different kinds of music. And I think if it wasn't for music, I'd probably be dead. Seriously. But anyway, I'm available for keynote speaking, and it's gonna get there. I'm following it. I love talking to people and love connecting with people. I can sell anything in the world. Certainly in technology, I connect with people. People trust me. It's I'm just me. Just be me. That's all I need to be. Not everybody's gonna like you. That's what you gotta understand. And that it keeps being reconfirmed to me how surface level people are. To be honest with you, and I hate that. I hate to be and say negative, but it's the honest to God truth. It doesn't. It feels almost like I go into places and it seems like people don't know what they're doing anymore for some reason. A lot of times, they do know what they're doing at Chick-fil-A, and there's people do at Target. But a lot of these companies, I don't get the feeling that they seem like they don't know what the hell they're doing. Maybe they're taught that too. But that if they're taught that, that's a toxic company. That unless somebody comes in from the top level and says I want to look at this from every different light, I'm not going to be involved with a company that's toxic and that are bad to their employees. Period. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to walk out the door. Because at some point it's going to come back to me, and that's wrong. That's wrong. It's immorally wrong. And the more I do this, I know who I am. I know my values, and I know exactly what happened to me. I know where all this started, and I know damn well. When Isaac Nana says that to you, man, it's the greatest endorsement ever. A pro athlete that's so well respected by all his teammates at Georgia, and blocking for Sony Michel. 2018 going to Oklahoma. There's no way in the world that it's not going to work one way or the other. I'm just going to follow it, and that's what I've done the whole time. And you know what? When other people try and they want you back and they want to change or whatever. That's a tactic, and I hate to be critical of anybody, but. I'm a better person than I was before. And you know what? I got to be right for myself too. And it just takes time. Thanks for listening.